Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Battle Series, The School of Hard Knocks. Throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping onto the Pokemon Global Link Rating Battles ladder and playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2017 season. So, yesterday we kind of had a first glimpse of the new team we're taking into this week. We've had another team review episode after yesterday's episode. We had that second match yesterday against the Porygon 2 that pretty much annihilated everything we had on the field. So I wanted to look at options that we had within the team without changing up the Pokemon too much, and look at options that we've got to kind of have like at least a game plan going in against the Porygon 2. It's not the most conventional plan that we've got, but without changing actual Pokemon, I feel like what we've changed gives us a little bit of a better option anyway, and an answer for what we can do against Porygon 2s if they are sitting on the field. At least we can start powering our Tapu Fini up. So we changed to a Calm Mind set with leftovers, just to give us a bit more defensive synergy in the team, and also just against Porygon 2, it's going to mean we can shore up those defenses and start hitting it for good damage in return. So without further ado, we will just jump straight onto the ladder and get going with these matches. Hopefully we get some good games for you guys today. We're sitting on a record with this team of 1-1, which isn't ideal. We're right at the bottom of the ladder. I might sometime, if we've got a little bit of spare time off screen, play some matches just to get us a bit further up the ladder between episodes. So we've got our first opponent from United States, California, I think they said, and they are running a team of Kartana, Arcanine, Alolan Muck, Tapu Lele, Garchomp, and Porygon 2. So what are we going to do here? They've also got the Intimidate support with the Arcanine, so we need to be careful with that. The Kartana, we need to be really careful with our Tapu Fini. We're probably going to need the Garchomp here. I like the Garchomp obviously for the Muck, and the Arcanine I can also hit the Kartana for good damage as well. I do like the Tapu Fini here as well, obviously just for the terrain wars that we've got going on, and it also gives us that option to show off if our call to change the Tapu Fini would work if they bring the Porygon 2. So I think what I will do, I'll lead off with my Tapu Fini and possibly my Garchomp, I think. Yeah. So we'll lead off with that. What else are we going to need? I do like Nihilego here. Nihilego hits. We've only got, well, you see we have to be really careful with the Nihilego against the Kartana, but I'm tempted to bring my Talonflame here. Let's think. I've got to choose quickly. I'm going to bring Nihilego and I'm going to bring Vikavolt as well. So we'll lock in with those four and see how we get on. If that Porygon 2 does go for the Trick Room, we can bring in a Vikavolt. Just off the top of my head, I don't think my opponent has anything that's going to be slower than it in a Trick Room, so we can take advantage of that. So that may put my opponent off setting the Trick Room up if it is a Trick Room variant. But we'll see what happens. So we're going to lead off with Tapu Fini and Garchomp, and we'll see what my opponent leads off with. He's going to lead off with the Porygon 2 and the Arcanine. So we're going to get the terrain up after the Arcanine gets an Intimidate on both of my Pokemon. We'll get the terrain up and we'll see. The Porygon should get an attack raise here. Yeah, so that's nice. So I think turn 1, what I might just do is go straight for a Calm Mind with my Porygon 2, and I will see what we've got in the back. I don't want to leave my Garchomp in just to take an Ice Beam, to be honest. So I think I might. I don't want to reset the Intimidate as well. I'm just thinking here. So I'm going to bring in my Vikavolt, which should be able to take the Ice Beam nicely. And I wouldn't have thought the Arcanine's going to go for a Fire type attack into the Garchomp. So unless my opponent really sees through that somehow. Yeah, my opponent just withdraws his Arcanine and brings in the Muck. and we will see. So we'll get a Calm Mind up, which is nice, and we'll see what this Porygon 2 goes for. May just go for a Trick Room. It goes for an Ice Beam straight into the Vigavolt slot and does decent enough damage. So now we have to be quite wary about the Muck here. Obviously it is putting pressure on my Tapu Fini, but I think I'm quite safe just to go for a Thunderbolt into the Muck slot, just to get some damage off onto it. And we'll Protect just to avoid any damage here from the Muck. I'd imagine it probably will go for Poison Jab into it. So Porygon 2 goes for a T-Bolt into the Fini. We're going to get a T-Bolt off onto the Muck, and the Muck goes for a Poison Jab. But it is interesting to note there that that Muck is a lot slower than my Vigavolt, so it probably does have the Berry. I'm going to go for... See, here he knows that as well, so his option, my opponent's option here is he can Protect the Muck and just go for a Trick Room. Which is... it's not ideal, but I might just go for a Muddy Water, and I think I'm just going to go for another T-Bolt into the Muck, just in case it doesn't Protect. So we don't see a Protect come out. We do get the Muddy Water, so we may get some accuracy drops. We do hit both of our opponents, which is nice. We get an accuracy drop onto the Porygon 2, which is great. Goes for a T-Bolt into my Tapu Fini, but we're taking that like a champ after that Calm Mind boost. We're going to get another T-Bolt off into the Muck, and that should pick up the KO. So that's putting us in quite a nice position here. And we're going to just heal up a little bit of health back with that leftovers. So, what is my opponent going to bring in next? Obviously, he's got the Arcanine. If he brings that in, it's going to put a lot of pressure onto the Vigavolt. But it is the Tapu Lele, and they will be able to get the Psychic Terrain up. So, let's think about what we're going to do here. I'm going to protect my Tapu Fini here, and I'm just going to go for a... I'm going to go for a Bug Buzz into the Tapu Lele, just to get some damage off onto it, engage what it's going to be doing, because there's a possibility it might be Choice Scarfed, possibility not, it might be Shattered Psyche, so he might go for that straight into the Tapu Fini. Obviously just protecting here is going to just give us a bit of security against being KO'd from that, although we have got the Calm Mind boost already, so we should be alright. My opponent withdraws the Porygon 2, brings in the Arcanine. He will get the Intimidate on both my Pokemon. It's not going to matter too much on my side at the minute. And we're going to see, yeah, here comes the Shattered Psyche from the Tapu Lele. So let's see who this goes into. I would imagine it's probably into the Fini to try and clear it off the field. If it is, that works out great for us. And we will get a Bug Buzz off onto the Vigavolt. We know it's not Choice Scarf now, but it's actually going into the Vigavolt. So my opponent picks the right target there. He will pick up the KO with that move. And that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We will just heal a bit of damage there. And what are our options? So we've got the Nihilego, which I am going to bring in, because the Nihilego straight away is just going to start putting pressure on everything out on the field. So I think I'm going to just go for a Muddy Water, and I'm going to just pass Sludge Bomb into the Tapu Lele slot, because we should be able to take care of the Arcanine with the Tapu Lele by itself anyway. So I'd say the Tapu Lele at the moment is the bigger target to kind of get rid of. Obviously we have got the Porygon to worry about as well, which my opponent has just switched in for the Arcanine. We will get a Sludge Bomb off onto the Tapu Lele. It does just hang on. The Tapu Lele is going to go for a Psychic onto the Nihilego, which will take it down to its Sash. And we will get a Muddy Water off. So hopefully it does hit both of my opponent's Pokemon, which it does, fortunately. And we'll pick up the KO on the Tapu Lele and do a decent amount of damage onto the Porygon 2. And then we're just going to top up our health a little bit more with that leftovers recovery. So my opponent's down to his last 2 Pokemon. He's got the Arcanine to bring in now, and he's got the Porygon too. We're obviously in a nice position with Nihilego and the Tapu Fini. We've got the Power Gem that can pick up the kill, hopefully, depending on how the Arcanine's built. And we've got the Muddy Water as well. So the Intimidate comes off from the Arcanine, but it's not really going to make much difference to either of my special attackers. I do need to be wary of an Extreme Speed from the Arcanine here into my Nihilego, but if he goes for that, then it's obviously taking up a resource. If he has Wild Charge, he's deciding this turn not to use that to kind of prioritize getting rid of the Nihilego. So I am just going to... I think I'm not. I'm going to go for a Sludge Bomb actually into the Porygon 2 here, because we know that can't protect, or it's unlikely that it will protect. So I'm going to get the Sludge Bomb off into the Porygon 2. The Arcanine's going to go for a Snarl. So we'll knock out my Nihilego and reduce the special attack on my Tapu Fini, taking it back down to 0. We get the Muddy Water and it's a double avoid. Oh, and now the Trick Room comes out. But we do know that we are actually going to be outspeeding this Arcanine under the Trick Room. So that's quite nice. We obviously have to be wary of this Porygon 2 being able to recover. So that's another thing we need to kind of keep in mind. We've got a Garchomp left in the back, so we bring that out. And I think what I will do is... I'm going to go for another Calm Mind with my Tapu Fini. No, actually I'm not. I'm going to protect my Tapu Fini this turn, and I'm going to go for an Earthquake. And hopefully with an Earthquake here, we should be able to take an Ice Beam from the Porygon 2 because we've got the Assault Vest. And we should hopefully put that Arcanine in Muddy Water range for the next turn. And then all we've got to do is have the Porygon to deal with. So the Porygon gets the Ice Beam off. The Arcanine goes for the Will-O-Wisp into my Tapu Fini, and I'm going to get the Earthquake into both the Arcanine and the Porygon 2. So this should do respectable damage to both. Actually picking up the KO onto the Arcanine, was that a critical hit? Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for my opponent there. So we do get the critical hit there. And my opponent's just down to his last Pokemon, the Porygon 2. So we've just got to make sure we can kind of close this game up. And what I think I'll do is just go for another Calm Mind with my Tapu Fini while we're in the Trick Room, because I feel like my opponent probably has to kind of prioritize taking care of this Garchomp at this point. And I'll just go for a Poison Jab, because if we can pick up a Poison at this point, remember the Psychic Terrain's out, so yeah. But that is that. So good games to my opponent. A bit unfortunate with that critical hit on the Arcanine. I'm not too sure that it really mattered too much in the end there, but we do take a win, so that's quite nice. And the Calm Mind, Tapu Fini put in quite a bit of work there. A lot of pressure anyway, I think. I think it's more the pressure that it puts on the field in these sort of situations. Takes a lot of attention off my other Pokemon for them to kind of operate in those sort of situations anyway. But we'll just take that win and we will move on. So we'll go straight into game 2 and hopefully you can find an opponent pretty quickly. And I'll just set the music. Should we go for a Gladian? We haven't had that in a while, so we'll go for that. So yeah, I really like the team. It's a lot of fun to play, and I think the change in Tapu Fini is definitely one for the better. Like, I do like quirky sets sometimes, but then you have to, like, I know it's a bit of a standard move set, but you know, the common misconception is that you kind of want to stay away from the common things and try new stuff out. But you've always got to remember that standard sets are standard for a reason, because they're good, and a lot of players use them is because they're effective. So don't shy away from standard sets. Obviously, it does give you an advantage in a match if you've got quirky things, but you can take standard stuff and just change it up. But we can kind of go into that later. We've got our next opponent though, from Italy, on a rating of 1547, and they are running a team of Pelipper, Kartana, Arcanine, Togedemaru, Tapu Bulu, and Milotic. So this is quite an interesting team. He's obviously got the Lightning Rod, which I presume on the Togedemaru. Obviously Fake Out support there. He's got Intimidate support with the Arcanine. the Kartana, the Milotic. I feel like Kartana is gonna be very good here, and we just need to worry about the Arcanine and the opposing Kartana. But I do feel like Kartana can work well. We're going to need it really for the Tapu Bulu and the Milotic. So how are we going to set this one up? I don't really want to bring the Vigavolt here, even though it's going to do a lot of work against the Pelipper, just because of the Lightning Rod. And I don't really think we're going to benefit very much from the String Shot. So let me quickly pick what we're going to do. I think I'm going to lead off Talonflame, Kartana. I am going to bring Garchomp, and I'm going to bring Nihileague as my fourth choice. And we'll go with those four and see how we get on. I've got to stop talking so much through the team preview, and I always leave myself about 20 to 30 seconds to choose, and it's just not enough. It's good training when I'm in an actual event, I guess, if I'm in a tight spot for thinking. But yeah, it's just one of those things I'll get used to as we kind of go on with the videos. I'm still getting used to the whole setup, really. Anyway, we're going to lead off with our Talonflame and our Kartana, and my opponent is going to lead off with the Milotic and the Togedemaru. So we've got to be obviously careful of the fake out here, but I think what I'm going to do is just go for I'm just going to go for a Protect. I'm just going to double Protect this turn. I think the worst thing that could happen is that Milotic having possibly Substitute, but it doesn't get a lot of setup moves outside of Coil, really. So at least here we just burn the Fake Out, which is fine. So the Togedemaru goes for the Fake Out onto the Kartana and a Scald onto the Talonflame, but we just burn those, so that's fine. Now we're not in a bad situation here, but I wonder if my opponent will just bring his... I wonder if he's just going to switch into the Arcanine, to be honest, for the Milotic. It wouldn't really surprise me at all if that is what happens. So I don't know whether to waste a Bloom Doom on it, but I do want to break the Air Balloon on the Togedemaru. Actually, do I really? I think what I might do, switch in my Talonflame, just keep that around for later, and bring my Garchomp in for that slot and go for a Smart Strike onto the Togedemaru just to get rid of that Air Balloon. Because I would imagine that the Milotic isn't going to stick around on the battle, or it's either going to Protect or switch out for possibly the Arcanine to come in. So we're going to switch out our Talonflame into our Garchomp. The Togedemaru actually goes for a Spiky Shield, and the Milotic doesn't Protect, so we're going to probably see just I wonder if it's a Scarfed Milotic. Yeah, so we see it go with the Scald onto the Garchomp. Yeah, we don't pick up the burn, so that's nice. I think I'm just going to go for a Fire Fang onto the Togedemaru, and I am just going to go for a Leaf Blade into the Milotic. I don't want to fire off the Bloom Doom yet, because I feel like I'll be wasting it, because it's so obvious that my opponent could just switch in the Arcanine, and I'm quite wary about kind of taking advantage of that and wasting it on an Arcanine switching. But we don't see the switch out again from the Milotic. It is just going to stay, and we are going to get the Leaf Blade off. It isn't Choice Scarfed, because it's not outspeed of my Kartana, and we just get the Leaf Blade straight onto it. And alongside that, we will get a Beast Boost, and we're going to get the Fire Fang onto the Togedemaru, so we'll do a decent chunk of damage and pop that Air Balloon and pick up the burn along the way. So just to rub the salt into my opponent's wound, so sorry about that. And I would imagine the Arcanine to come in here. That is if my opponent has brought it. But it's actually the Kartana. Now my opponent is aware that I have got Fire Fang on my Garchomp. I think what I might do is just go... I wonder if that Togedemaru is just going to go for a Spiky Shield again. I'm going to go for a Fire Fang onto the Kartana, and I'm just going to Protect with my Kartana Obviously, because the opposing Kartana, if it's got Sacred Sword, which it likely has, it's going to be putting a lot of pressure onto my Kartana, so I just need to be careful. And we can kind of just scout out what kind of Kartana it is. So my opponent's going to withdraw the Togedemaru, bring in the Tapu Bulu, and he reveals he hasn't got the Arcanine, so it is making our job slightly easier this match, but there's still a long way to go to pick up the win here. So we're going to get the Protect off with Kartana. Opposing Kartana does go for the Sacred Sword into my Kartana, and we get the Fire Fang off with our Garchomp, and this, oh, it just hangs on. So we'll heal back a little bit of damage with our Pokemon. And we're sitting in quite a nice position here because the opposing Kartana, unless it's something ridiculous like Life Orb or Choice Banded, it's not going to be picking the K up with Sacred Sword onto my Kartana. So we're quite free here just to Smart Strike into the Tapu Bulu and just go for another Fire Fang onto the Kartana and hopefully pick up both KOs here. So we do win the speed tie if there was a speed tie. We're going to get the Smart Strike off onto the Bulu, and because of that +1 attack that we've got on there, we will pick up the KO straight away. Going to get another Beast Boost along with that, but we'll probably take a Sacred Sword from the opposing Kartana, which we do. But we should hang on. Yeah, that's fine. Garchomp's going to take care of the opposing Kartana with Fire Fang, and we're down to my opponent's last Pokemon. So he's got the Togedemaru to bring in, but he hasn't got a lot to really deal with either of these Pokemon. He's obviously got the Fake Out support, but outside of that, he's got electric moves, which will do a good chunk to Kartana, but he's going to be struggling against the Garchomp regardless. So I am just going to go for a Fire Fang into the Togedemaru with the Garchomp and Protect with my Kartana. Obviously with the Assault Vest I don't have the option to Protect, and my opponent just forfeits. So that is that, and good games to my opponent there, and we'll take another win. And that's a nice end to the episode, guys. So we will call it a day there. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We got some sort of win to kind of showcase in that Tapu Fini change anyway, the Calm Mind set against the Porygon 2. But hopefully, as I say, if I do have time, I'll try and ladder up a bit in between episodes, so we do start finding some tougher opponents and kind of just really putting the team through its paces. And I don't mean any disrespect to the opponents I've played, because obviously I've had some really tough matches. It doesn't matter where you are on the ladder, you can't underestimate anyone. I just mean that the higher performing teams are going to be a lot tougher for us to kind of go up against and really put a team through our paces. So I'll stop digging myself a hole and I will end things here. If you've liked the video, guys, please leave a like as always. Subscribe to the channel for the daily uploads, and if you've got any questions about the team or comments or anything like that, leave them in the comment section below and then we'll get back to you. But until tomorrow, and I don't think we're going to have a team review episode tomorrow, unfortunately, but it's probably a good thing as well. We don't want to be kind of overloading the channel with those. So until tomorrow, guys, you enjoy the rest of your night, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.